telepathic. It was just a feeling of this overwhelming feeling of how important the environment is. We need to make sure that the environment is our first priority and that we all make the right choices for the environment.
We need clean air, beautiful plants, clean soil to be able to live and thrive.
Animals, trees, plants, just everything around us.
I think they want people to know that we're actually making harm on this world and we mustn't get too technology.
I don't think they even say the word technology when I was at that age. So I remember being interviewed by people, and I would say things like, "Don't get too technologized," or the message
I'm
is
making a review
that
of
technology is
the
not
net.
going is only going to
I cannot say the
benefit
name
us.
or else they
It's not
will
going to
block
do
it.
any humans any good.
It's called UFO encounters.
Unconscious, I think. Unconscious. Yeah, it came to my head.
I had never felt that sense of connection.
This is the Zimbabwe case.
Just unfortunate that what happened in the aftermath was not as peaceful and nice.
Last year was 20 years ago, I think, or a little bit longer than that. Was when I finished at aerial school. And I remember why my mother wanted me to come here. Being out in nature, it's just so wonderful. So did you see the UFO? No, I didn't see the UFO. I made up the whole thing.
Hello, woman dragon. I don't want to put the image straight so they will block me. This is one of the kids. He's grown up now. Of Zimbabwe UFO case.
And we came up with a crazy idea which never ever should have worked. At the time, I can't see it now, but at the time there was a rock, a very very shiny rock. It was shining in the sun, and so I pointed at him like, look, yeah, there's a spaceship, there's an alien.
Have a blessed night, woman dragon.
Like, yeah, aliens. And within half an hour, all the kids were talking about it. All the kids were running around, and the whole school was buzzing.
It could have been a millisecond. It could have been 10 minutes. All I know is when I was able to eventually let go of Emma's hand, the playground was in chaos.
60 kids that saw what I saw.
Short, long arms, crazy greenish oval shape.
That woman there, that blonde girl, she said exactly where the spaceship landed. I got completely shivers.
All kinds of things, but I was just in panic. Why would aliens come to a school, run around, not make actual contact with anybody? So they've traveled from galaxies. You're not going to risk that chance of coming thousands of miles away to talk to children. I wasn't trying to find out, like, okay, what's going to happen next, or why they're here. I don't remember looking back because I was terrified. Because you thought I was sick. You see
Guys,
people literally
get a head massager, guys. Takes the pain away completely.
Love it. They really truly believe it. So definitely was not wrong. I know it was. And you thought they would say, what else could it have been?
Woman dragon, I think you can, no problem. Just say I'm reviewing UFO encounters show or something like that. I cannot tell you where I'm getting this from because if I tell you, they will block me for sure.
I would have just stood there and looked at the rock and pointed. I would have actually moved towards the alien. I would have gone up to the spaceship because When else are you getting an opportunity like that to actually physically go up to
Can you listen well, woman dragon?
obviously argue with me, tell me I'm a liar, tell me all sorts of things. But I have to be honest with myself, first of all. And my truth is there weren't aliens. My truth is that it was a rumor that started, and you guys believe it. You saw something. I do apologize.
Let me know if you
for
want me
calling
to
you
put the
guys
sound higher.
bullshit, but sorry, I have to be honest.
I do not have any doubt about what I saw that day. I have never doubted what I saw.
And let's be honest, children lie. They're not as innocent as we would like to believe they are. That means you're saying that 60 people lied. Yeah, 60 people lied.
This is very good.
And I just finished litigating the
This
first
is very
large
good.
sex abuse case against the Catholic
Hello,
Church.
Ligan. Hello,
I was sitting in
Karen.
my office,
Good
I get a
evening.
telephone call from this very prominent lawyer who's in the western part of the country. And he said to me, Eric, I have a case for you. And he told me it was about a Harvard professor who believed in aliens. And he was the chief of psychiatry at Cambridge Hospital. He'd won the Pulitzer Prize, like created the first
Fine.
outpatient mental hospital in the country, who's done great work.
I'll turn the camera better if anything good appears, okay?
I said, well, he probably needs some serious mental health assistance. But I was told that he was a tenured professor and there was a secret proceeding that was about to take place with a committee at Harvard to remove his tenure, which I was told was the first time that had ever happened in the 350-year history of Harvard University. So that piqued my interest.
This is a guy to take seriously. He's won the Pulitzer Prize. He built from scratch the psychiatry department at Cambridge Hospital, now a trophy on the Harvard Showcase of Teaching Hospitals.
Traditionally in psychiatry, if a patient were to come to you with a report that they'd had contact with
poor man.
it would be almost automatically assumed, I think, that this is
He was run over in England.
That was my initial reaction when I first heard about this type of case.
Yep, I know, Karen. That's why I'm just showing a little bit of the image. Do you think the sound will be alright?
Tortured by the fact that no one would listen to them. People would dismiss them as psychotic. And as John looked at it, they weren't mentally ill, but they were traumatized.
As far as I could tell, this has become clearly established, having now worked with 90 such people, there was no apparent psychiatric illness that could account for this.
If they're describing something that's very similar to what others are describing, and we're discounting it as saying, well, this didn't happen.
I posted the trailer on my community tab of this that I'm watching.
Do you approach it as a wanting to believe or as a huge skeptic?
I approach it as a huge skeptic. I mean, for me,
Wonderful.
it could not be. This is not something that...
Actually, the best part was the beginning, guys. It was very, very good. The girl was showing exactly where the craft at the Zimbabwe in Africa landed, like saying like it was here and there. I was like completely in shivers. That's when I started the stream, really.
It's possible. There can't be that kind of intelligence working in our universe. There must be something different to explain this thing. So let's find out what it's about. Let's do careful studies of every aspect of this. That's what I would like to see.
John was starting to become a celebrity. And he was on all
Okay,
the
this
talk
is a
shows
fair use
with his
commentary,
purple
please.
suit and state son's tie.
For the last 4 years, Dr. Mack has studied about
Just to
100 patients who claim
educate a little bit of the public of what's happening and what's happened in the past.
at Harvard University.
A Harvard psychiatrist,
A Harvard psychiatrist.
And he was outspoken. And Harvard, what they couldn't tolerate was the fact that John was out there on television. And Harvard was being associated with something that was highly controversial.
there's a pattern.
Yep, I think they started saying that John Mack was a bit of a loony, so that he would be separated from the Harvard community, the science community. Maybe the reason why they ran him over, or he was run over.
Sharon shares with us the terror she feels when she's had an encounter
I
with
wonder if the drunk driver that ran him over is still alive.
Should not have accepted these patients without treating them with either medication or intensive psychotherapy. But these patients
No,
are psychotic, and that by
no, Karen, I'm from Portugal,
not discounting what they claim to
but
be
I've
severity,
studied
John
in
was on
England for in Maidstone, Kent. I studied osteopathy from 2002 to 2006. And then I only liked X Files.
If feel ashamed about it, that's number one. But I also heard that this was occurring in children as young as 2 or 3 years old. That ruled out personality
But I
explanation.
was in a
And
pre-English school, like
people, when examined, are not psychiatrically
before,
disturbed.
like
So the only
I
thing
don't
that
know.
behaves like that is real experience.
It's different the grades,
at
but
stake was his
I
entire
was like a few years in an English school,
license to
then
practice
I
medicine.
went to Portuguese
And John
school,
said, okay, I'm not going to
then
roll
I
over
went to another
I'm going to stand up to him.
Portuguese secondary school, and then I did 3 years in an English school
So John went
to go
to
to England
the
and
Papa
study osteopathy.
to prove that there was something significant that happened to these individuals. And we need to keep our minds open
So this is
and not be
they
just solely
interviewed
focused on the
the
material world.
children again when they're older. I think this is the episode where they
I was
talk
working on
when
my
they're
John
older.
Mack book. Actually, took me 17 years from beginning to end. And that's what intrigued me, that John Mack would put his career on the line to investigate this, what I call a disreputable subject. And you say, well, there's no scientific proof. Well, there isn't. But Mack dealt in an area where there really isn't scientific proof.
No mental health, there is no evidence. But in in a court of law, if you're a testimony for a murder, it counts. So it counts when it's people, but it doesn't count when it's something otherworldly, basically. Okay, this is the director of the school. She seems to be a very hard person. Christian school.
I don't go to church. I don't need to go to church to find God. I know He knows where my problems are. There's some things you just don't need to question in life. You just accept. And that's what I allow it to be.
Oh, damn, this is good. Yes, you were doing a show with the yellow shirt man yesterday, sister.
Is this being recorded? Yeah, I feel like a little kid again. Yeah.
Okay, this is the other girl.
Miss Bates finds out she's gonna kill me.
She's a smoker now.
Trying to live a normal life, trying to move on, but there's always this experience that just.
Damn, her face is exactly the same. Look at that.
Yeah, the kids. The other kids screaming, crying, but it was just like I was
Look,
being
it's
drawn in
exactly
by
the
that
same.
feeling. And I remember seeing big black eyes, and I don't know if it was telepathic, I don't know, but the message I was receiving and the message I remember was that we were harming the planet. But growing up those
This case is so close to the Fatima case here in Portugal, guys. You don't want to imagine. There's just not a craft landing in the Fatima case.
I think the next time we spoke about it was when John Mack asked me to describe what was
Okay, have a great night, Karen. Great to see you. Awesome show. I'll be joining you more often for sure. Thank you very much.
What's your opinion, having spoken to children, Ariel, through this?
I approached these 2 days trying to keep an open mind about whether these kids were stirred by, say, the imagination of one of them and then told a story, something like that. And we interviewed about a dozen children.
They interviewed 12 people.
Been one of the last reporters to come. News crews from everywhere came to talk to us, and I wasn't taken seriously. Now maybe they'll understand my story and they'll listen to me and they'll help me make sense of what's going on for me.
My mum just texted me and
Do you go right to sleep or do you stay awake?
I stay awake and I get scared of things.
Hello, Granny. Nice to see you. Educational purposes, we're just showing the audio of this UFO encounter episode
She won't believe me.
and commenting and trying to get a sense of what's happening.
It's just always in my mind.
Hello, Nomad. I like that face. That's what the girl saw.
So there was a guy who came, I remember, he was tall and slow and he was kind of
Let's hope they. Hello, Patricia. Good evening. Let's hope they don't block me. Well, until for now, 17 minutes.
When we go to the bottom of the playground,
Oh, this is the little girl. Look. This girl was very shaken by the sound. I want to see her grown up.
and then yeah, he gave some pieces of paper, some colors and said the true what you saw. The true?
Oh my god, I didn't see anything of this. Wow. Ouch, my god, I cannot hold this. This is too strong, guys. Fair use. We're just showing some kids' drawings, nothing more. Okay, we seen this one. Oh, the first episode I was watching from this, guys. There was a hunter.
it was at the end of break time, and then when we went back into the class, we told our teacher, but none of the teachers believed us.
Oh, poor child.
The teachers don't believe us at all. They thought maybe we just saw something, but they didn't believe it was beings and, this oval thing that we saw.
We actually tried to pull it off at first.
Yeah.
And we just carried on as normal.
I don't even recall speaking to the children about it all, because we were dealing with something we had never dealt with before. So you stick to what you know in your classroom.
I live here at the school, so I try not to think about it at all.
The director lived at the school.
I've had a lot of sleepless nights since it happened, so I try to put that in my mind.
One of the first things that we were told was there was a gardener down there that was dying. And I don't want you to be talking about this any further.
I'm still really skeptical about children.
Oh, can you see a gardener with a metal sheet on his head?
How do they know what they're seeing and
Come on, the girls saw gardeners every day.
That's the key. Been working with children as long as I have. You have to be very cautious as to how you interpret what they actually tell you.
Yes,
The
exactly.
individuals, they have to choose what they want to believe.
Exactly, Nomad.
It's
From that hole, there's only stuff going out.
the minds of
Only a colonoscopy if I really need it.
the rest of the people, they continue the story for them.
60 children lying about what they saw or being put up to it by their friends. That's a pretty big group. I can get 5 16-year-olds testifying that one particular teacher or priest was a predator. That's really powerful evidence, and I win the case. Okay, so all 60 people describing the same experience. Why should we discount that? This is the kind of evidence that is very powerful in legal circles.
In court, we credit eyewitness testimony. People are convicted of murder on eyewitness testimony. They're sentenced to
Oh,
death.
exactly. I was talking about this already before.
And Max said, look, this is what I do. I'm a psychiatrist. I talk to people all the time. I kind of judge when they're telling me the truth and when they're, when they're not.
Exactly, he's a judge of if anyone is telling the truth or not.
Stories, recounted them. It was with what he calls suitable affect. In other words, they displayed the terror that they felt at the time, and he felt certain that this was not something people can easily make up.
I have a hard time with this
Why?
because I don't want to believe it. I really don't. These people were expressing with such intense feeling something that was so meaningful and powerful and with great fears. And as a psychiatrist, there's nothing but real experience that is like that.
I wish that
Exactly. It's like the truth panel. They can judge if people are telling the truth, and that's what John Mack was really doing, was judging if people were telling the truth or not. Fair use, guys. We're just commenting.
No, you didn't see that.
We were scared of getting smacked.
it's not a matter of what we believe, it's what their experiences and how they find the adults around them being receptive to that experience. And I think that's probably one of the rock bottom educational principles, that whatever your personal point of view, politics, prejudice may be, is that you give an opportunity for ideas and expression of feelings and thought to be openly communicated.
I lost friends because of it. I was the crazy person who just...
She lost friends because of this. I'm from Portugal.
I was the person that said that this would happen. So there was a lot of stigma at that time.
North Portugal.
Ordinarily, we would not even put people on television who make such bizarre claims. To be honest, their stories do sound really crazy.
In a lot of ways, the experience itself was less traumatic than the aftermath. The aftermath was a lot.
So it really impacted some people. And then you're going to ask the question, these individuals, did they have psychological issues before?
Where are you from, Nomad?
Did that day, that experience, people lying, did that create psychological issues for those individuals?
Oh yes, 1/16. I have German blood from my grandfather. Actually, my great-grandfather married a German woman that was disinherited by her parents because she ran away with my great-grandfather. He was a doctor.
Treat people like they're crazy and humiliate them if they are experiencing some other entity, some other intelligence that's coming across. Why is everybody thought crazy if some intelligence is coming to them and they're honestly experiencing that this is the case?
In a time where you are growing up and you're not being relieved about a really important thing, that meant that when I had other important things happen to me or just life happen,
Sorry
I found
guys,
it very difficult
this is
to
my mosquito
open up to
racket.
anybody else and tell them about anything that happened said to me that I should go and see a counsellor or I should go and talk to someone about these things. But I don't because will they believe me or will I have to go through my life again and this is what happened?
People who have these experiences are being truthful. We don't know what the source of the experiences is, but it's important to accept that they're speaking truthfully about something very powerful that has happened to them. And yet, why should this be so remarkable when we claim to believe in God and all kinds of spirits, and yet there's something about this one which takes a form that is particularly
As I understand it, there are people now.
Yes, woman dragon. It's wood ceiling. Very nice.
When I had my experience. But it was after what the children saw and before Professor came. But I haven't seen it about it. There's no fun in my bedroom.
It's all wood, sister. Not all. I have some stone. Look, I have some stone here.
Narrow bed. Which I found funny because I'm quite fat.
But otherwise, it's just walls.
They're very narrow. And then some of the people are around you.
I love this ceiling. I can fall asleep every day watching it.
They inserted something in my belly button.
Yes, but we don't have many bats here. Or I'm afraid of bats.
And then there was the flash in her belly. Sounds like a movie, doesn't it? But it wasn't. It was my experience, nobody else's business. Just deal with it quietly on my own.
Fair use.
So then ended up on prison. And I wasn't happy at the school. And I just was like, yeah, well, maybe I shouldn't be around any longer.
Okay, so
Suicide, maybe? I don't know.
she was the director of the school was very affected. She almost to suicide, she says.
No way I would have spoken about it with Professor Mack or anyone who came in. I kept very much in the background. And I came back again and I said, did I want to go with them? Because I was unhappy. And I'm like, no. Then they came back the third and final time and said, right, we're leaving. This is your last chance. Do you want to go with us? And I said, no, I've got to do what I've been trained to do, and that you don't leave a project, you see it through.
Damn, this is a hard woman. Hey, hello, Uncle Skin. Okay, it's 10 to 2 in the morning, so 1:50. Oh, we woman dragon, we don't. I have bats outside, but they never got in the house. But I remember maybe on my grandmother's house, maybe. Yeah, but they do get in if you open the windows. I have mosquito nets, woman dragon. That doesn't happen here.
But he's also a man who tends to take on enthusiasms, and this time he's gone too far. John has lost it this time.
Harvard was saying that John had committed malpractice.
Nice one, woman dragon.
In the hearings. And the theory of Harvard was by not telling these people that they're psychotic, by not putting them on tranquilizing medication for their psychoses, you are committing malpractice.
These patients do have psychological problems.
Fair use.
Problems of being masked by this.
Okay, this is on the second part. I think it has 4 parts, so I don't know how long, but maybe like 1 more hour for the complete parts, I think.
get it. Jesus came to earth, died for our sins and everything, but where did he come from? And I remember asking him, man, could it be possible that he was an alien? And I was like, I've witnessed this, I've seen this. And he kind of shrugged it off and just like, no, you didn't.
Very good.
Like, you didn't see it.
Guys,
I had people saying,
I'm
"Oh,
just
you
going
don't see that."
to the kitchen very quick and I'll be back very soon. Don't be.
That you had as a child, they don't matter. Who you are as an African is irrelevant. He actually used the word irrelevant. I can't bring my own individuality, and as big as the world is, so many different people, kinds of people and languages. You want to erase all of that and say it doesn't matter. So that led me on a journey of searching and asking questions.
You know, they've been lying to themselves for so many years. Maybe they actually need somebody to say to them, never happened, wake up. And so they can start healing from the lie that they've been telling themselves for so many years, and eventually believe the lie that they're telling themselves.
About 20 years I tried to keep that hidden, I tried to keep that down. And as a result, I lost a lot of my childhood. And I lost a lot of my memories of my childhood because I couldn't open that wound. I couldn't open that trauma.
When you hear a noise, what do you imagine it is?
I think it's people coming into my house wanting to steal me and steal all my toys and everything.
And then I wasn't able to really talk about it to my husband. He's a very traditional Catholic, and he questioned me and said, what is this documentary really about? And I said, well, for a very long time I was scared that if I did tell you that you would think that I was crazy, so you wouldn't want to be with me. And initially he was like, yeah, no, this can't be happening. I can't be married to someone that's seen aliens.
I walked into this courtroom that they'd assembled at Harvard, and there was a big kind of semicircular dais where these three doctors were sitting. It looked kind of like a tribunal. And we collected affidavits and statements and gave testimony from people who say that John saved their lives, and that they might have committed suicide in some cases were it not for John.
I wasn't heard by the adults that I trusted. Whereas with John Mack, we didn't have to try to make him believe what we had seen. And I know that he copped a lot of flack for it too. He didn't walk away from this experience peacefully at all. And he had to fight for us.
This went on for 14 months, and we're having all these hearings. And of course, by then, word of the Star Chamber had leaked out. People were outraged that John was going through this. And I think the fact that it leaked out was one of the reasons why Harvard decided to retreat.
I'm pretty thick-skinned about it, and that's certainly expected, you know, if you're rallying a cage of a worldview with something that's just not supposed to be, you know, the empire will strike back, and you've got to expect that.
The people at the highest levels of the university realized that this was nothing more than a witch hunt. Put an end to it.
That wasn't how.
Still on, guys.
In a way, convinced that an extraordinary event occurred here, quite unique in UFO history. If there's anything that could convince a closed-minded public that some kind of intelligence that is not as the headman
Good to see you guys.
then this event should happen.
Can you listen good?
He was a rare individual.
Hello, Manny.
Enough confidence.
Good evening.
It's a very, very strange area, and it remains the colossal mystery of our time. I mean, there is no answer to
Like my head massager, Manny?
what these UFOs
Get one,
are,
guys.
whether there are
You won't get pain in your head anymore.
associated with that.
Promise.
Are questions, most confounding questions of our time. Questions like, what happens after we die? Where did the universe
universe come from? What happened before the Big Bang? I mean, what was there before that? Where did that come from?
Cool, cool. But can you listen well? The TV?
But the church got a hold of it, was converted into something that means holy. But its original meaning, before it was hijacked by the church, means something of great mystery, something that is inexplicable, but it exists
It's
because you're interacting with it.
it's better clear and distant, or
Still,
just a little bit, Manny,
brought me
like
to a
this.
place where I did find my Africanness, my own African belief systems and culture and spirituality.
I believe in it because I did see it.
This is a story that we're sharing. This is a story that we're proud of. This is a story that if you want to talk about it, talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. But it's your story as well.
This is a very important story to tell, but not so much because of incident itself. It's an important human
Guys, look at my
story to
little
see
car UFO chocolate.
that's empathy. That's like I can see things from your perspective. You can go in different directions on it, but that's what makes us human.
Look, look, look.
Some people chose to dig deeper. Some people chose to just shut it down and not think about it. Some people may have found answers that make sense to them. Some people it may still be a puzzle piece that doesn't fit anywhere. There are people who were there that day that were like,
I'm eating half of it.
didn't happen. And that's okay too. That's a choice too.
There's so much more to explore and so much more to know about what is around us. And I didn't realize that I could have an impact to the environment in a negative way. So having that message
Very true, Manny.
took me to a different understanding of my place in the world.
It was just so eye-opening, and it made me realize what a narrow mindset I had, and that I was unwilling to accept the possibility.
It's almost finishing this episode.
In this material world that I don't understand.
Most people would say the question is like, are we alone? I don't think that's it. I think the question is, who are we?
This is fair use, guys.
Understand that someone else
Fair
is
use.
looking back at us and saying,
Fair use, guys.
who do they see?
Just commenting. Okay? Just commenting, guys. Fair use. Nice one. 60 kids saw the craft. 10 years later, John Mack was run over in England by a drunk driver. They say this was the most significant encounter of the 20th century. Okay, guys, so we're going for the third one now.
Now, what do you make of this next story?
This is called the Triangle of
Something strange came out of the skies and landed in
Haven, something Haven.
Haven near Haverfordwest.
Manny, this was an artist. I'll show you the link of this artist. Wait a second.
We were at our school playground, lunchtime break, just down by this tree over here.
Okay, so this is the guy, guys, who did my t-shirt. It's called Style Spectrum Custom Graphics. And he's got a Facebook. Style Spectrum in Facebook. And in Instagram, he's Style Spectrum _ unlocked. And he's got a shop online, www.stylespectrum.com. This guy is from the south of Portugal. He's a genius. He's genius, guys. I don't know if how much he will do anything but the price or anything, but he did my this T-shirt. I brought the T-shirt. No, sorry. I bought the T-shirt, white T-shirt for 25 euros with the drawing, and he also did my cap. I'm gonna show you my cap now.
He was Canadian and he had 6 eyes.
There's something profoundly going on here.
I'll put back the video for sure. Check my cap, guys. Wait, you cannot see. Wait a second.
Are we filming? You know, for our whole lives and our parents' whole lives, since the 1940s, we've been told by
John P.
authorities and scientists that this is ridiculous.
Adventures.
This is nonsense.
That cool hat.
And I think that's
He did the cap for
why
free.
you don't have many serious, or until recently, you've had very few serious scientists studying this. I would say there's probably on the order of 15 experts in the world. That to me is shocking. It suggests that there's something maybe deeper than the stigma and all of the obvious things that
Yeah, the guy is a very good artist, guys.
maybe people don't want to know what this
I met him when I went to Zoo Marine. It's like an aqua show with dolphins and seals and parrots and other animals, and also acrobatics. And it has a beach and those tube things that you go on with the water. And the guy was there selling his caps. He had like okay, now they're talking about in 1977 a Welsh village. 450 people reported seeing mysterious crafts. Fair use, guys. It all it all started in a field behind the school. Okay, so this is the other case of the school of the children.
It was a lovely little village. It still
But
is.
in Wales,
Quiet during the
I've been
winter,
to Wales once.
absolutely mad during the
When I
summer,
studied
all
in
day
England, I
rain.
helped
But it was a great place
a
to
dear
grow up.
friend move back to Wales at the end of the course because I had a big van, and she was very nice. She paid me for gas
In school,
and gave me some money and
I was overweight
gave
as
me
a child.
a room to sleep when I went there.
Teased on boys because of that.
Very good,
I
very
probably
good.
relate more to cats than I do to human beings.
Broadhaven.
They
This is
drifted
Broadhaven.
and I spent most of the day indoors. I hadn't actually gone out with a lot of the others to play.
You know Mushroom Manny? Or do you live close?
From playtime, and they've been saying that they'd seen a flying saucer. I just totally regarded the stories as being nonsense. To me,
He looks like Mr. Eon on Stephen Campion's show.
or they were in
Sorry, Mr. Eon, I'm just playing. But the
At the end
voice.
of the day, I thought, this is getting ridiculous. I'm going to have a look for myself. I left school
Fair use, guys.
all the way up to the top.
This is just educational. We're not showing the whole episode. We're just showing some audio, guys. Please respect me.
Some trees. If this thing popped up in front of me,
Yes, it's in Wales. It was in 1977.
shaped about 45 feet
Cigar shaped, 40 meters in length. he saw.
This thought that came into my mind to say that I had to run away.
He had to run away on his thoughts. Too late, guys. He was taken already. This was afterwards when he came back. I'm joking.
I did go home and tell my mum and dad, and they weren't judgmental in any way. They believed me and believed that what I saw, I believed.
You know what mothers are like, they can tell when you're lying. And she was absolutely convinced that what I was saying
His
was
mother
untrue.
was completely convinced
She
he
contacted
was
a gentleman called
telling
Randall
the
Jones
truth.
Pugh, a close family friend.
Randall Pugh is a retired vet who acts as regional investigator for the British UFO Research Association. We have a phenomenon which I think will be with us for a very, very long time. If we ever do indeed unravel it at all.
Teddy, you take that sector over there.
This
That sector there, and I'll go to Norway.
He came as quickly as possible, and he brought with him a local reporter from the Western Telegraph. The sighting had happened on the Friday. By Monday morning, things had gone crazy.
Today, one group of children showed me the spot when they saw what they think was some kind of spaceship.
Suddenly, this silver cigarette-shaped object seemed to pop up from behind the bushes and trying to take off, then it disappeared again.
It was night time, I was 10 years old, I switched on the TV and on the children's news round programme was this amazing story.
Spaceship is a cigar shape with a dome on it.
When you're about 9, 10 years old, it's sort of like a very formative period.
Wow, they haven't turned off the stream. I'm so surprised, guys.
We're all interested in.
We have received many reports of UFO sightings over Mobile.
1977 was a bumper year for UFOs. The numbers of sightings were increasing. Well, it was
Fair use, guys.
interest was increasing.
This is what I drink. Orange juice, eight fruit juice for kids.
The culmination of a lot of this was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and it was trailed incessantly. And then the film itself was just like all the things I've been reading about. And also, it was a pretty miserable time. There was fuel shortages. We were in the middle of the Cold War with the Soviet Union. I remember seeing this diagram in my local newspaper that had an area showing the blast zone. And I was looking at whether I'd been vaporized or whether I'd managed to get home in time. So there was all that going on. So UFOs,
Crazy times.
visits from outer space was like escapism from
Hello, sister.
it was
Sarah, so good to see you.
escape into.
I saw a flying saucer. We might call it a UFO.
Sarah, this is some episodes
And this was definitely
of UFO encounters.
story to have emerged from the UK.
This is the third episode. There's one more after it and it finishes.
Clearly something happened. What it was, we don't know.
Very good to see you, sister. Love you too, sister. How are you feeling? Are you feeling all right?
Monday morning, the headmaster separated us,
We missed you very much. You know that?
and we were told to write an account and draw a picture of what we'd seen.
Pictures, and nobody knew what anybody else was drawing.
They're drawing now.
So chances were that we were going to hopefully draw pretty much the same thing.
Now, this wasn't like today. There was no social media, there was no mobile phones. So there was no opportunity for us to have got together. There's no way we could have collaborated. The headmaster had us all fresh. He collected the accounts and was noticeably shocked by how similar the accounts and
Very good to have you guys.
To find out more, I've just been on the phone to their
Sorry it was a bit unannounced, but I didn't. This doesn't have the first episode. The first episode I watched alone. I may just put it the first episode at the
Within
end of
the
this
images
one,
that they
okay?
chose to be drawn, there are clearly a lot of similarities. You've got the shapes in the wall,
Yes,
you've got
sister,
the fact
one
that
day at
they're
a
all the
time.
same colour, they've got the red light flashing on
I've
top of
been
the
like
vehicle as well.
2 weeks with a strange neck pain, but now I'm
This is
using
one of the ones I saw on a Friday
my head
afternoon.
massager, look,
It was dome shaped, it had 10
and it's
little
helped a
windows
lot.
near the top, it has a door with a runway.
No one on the planet
Thank you,
Earth knows
woman
what your
dragon.
flying saucer looks like.
Anytime, don't worry. It's a pleasure
Looking at some of
having you.
those drawings, you can see where some of these elements from pop culture came in. And I'm thinking of
Okay,
one
they're
film
showing
in
the
particular that
drawings
I know
now.
would show you
I'll show
completely
you the
see
drawings better.
Forbidden Planet. There's a good chance that some of the kids had seen that.
Yep, this is from a movie.
Now that isn't to say that, oh, they saw the film, so they just imagined it. But if you speak to sort of like the films and pop culture of the time, all those things that are in your head become part of it. People are steeped in this stuff. They watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they watch Doctor Who, they watch Day the Earth Stood Still, that kind of thing. It's there in their heads.
I had always been interested in UFOs. I was 12 when Star Wars came out, 45 years ago this year. And so it was that impressionable age, and it was around that same time that you have shows on TV like In Search of with Leonard Nimoy.
Perhaps it's time to approach the question of UFOs again.
Oh, look who he is.
The study of exoplanets basically consists of the search for and characterization of planets orbiting other stars.
Oh, I didn't know, Sarah.
When
Oh, I know
the New York
Snarky.
Times article came out,
I thought I had
we
subbed
learned
to him.
about the ATIC program that had been studying UAPs and that this was a serious problem.
UAP reports need to be understood as a national security matter. When we spot something we don't understand or can't identify in our airspace, it's the job of those we entrust with our national security to investigate and to report back.
I thought, scientists need to be studying this. This is really something that should be studied.
That's an exercise. That seems to be helping. Okay.
Where
Rub the
difficult,
front of your
dangerous,
pecs
you don't know what they are,
and
you don't know what the
out
intentions are.
under
Intention is everything.
the arm.
So we don't really know what these things are until
Okay.
we really
Oh, I know what you mean, dragon.
in control of these craft.
That's my pecs.
Hypothesis that
My
we have
pecs are a
arrived at
bit
that
tense, you know.
there are other possible
I do a little bit of work with my arms.
Perhaps just a helicopter or an aircraft from the airfield near here?
A helicopter could land there, but it's not private property over there. And if they landed there, it'd be prosecuted. And with an aircraft,
Oh, this guy is gonna be a lawyer for sure, this kid.
Most of us kids, especially the boys, we were familiar with almost everything that NATO was flying in the sky at the time. Because we
Sarah, no worries. If you do a 4-hour show, of course you can sleep and the last hour.
I think people actually thought that, well, if anything flies, it must
You
be
can
something
sleep
for them.
here anytime, sister, no worries.
Broadly at that time,
You
the
and your
Americans
birdies are
would
safe.
carry out our flying missions while using weapon systems. I'd arrived as a flight lieutenant
And I got
in
some of
the
these.
30s, which
I can't have many because my belly doesn't allow, but I'll have a few.
in width,
I bought the cheap ones this time.
next stop America. As the
It's a
communications
peanut
officer
and
for
chocolate.
Customs, I was the link between the RAF inside the fence and the outside the fence. I was getting an increasing number of reports of and I always took the reports very seriously. And there was one occasion where a lady in Haverford such
This was a friend of mine that told me to watch these 4 episodes. And I was like, I've seen that show. And he was like, oh, it's recent. It's like it has some months. And I was like, seriously? So most likely is I may get something. I'm not gonna say the name,
husband brought her back to Wales.
or I'll just have to erase it after. So,
After the war, and there was a certain animosity
whoever is lucky to be here.
but generally, they felt a certain uneasiness. It was like we were something apart from everyone else.
We bought this place 1967. It was an old smuggler's fort, and we converted it to
Smuggler's Fort.
It's mainly meant to be for my daughter.
Tavern Fort
This is a
Hotel.
photograph of my mother and I. She's in her white oak kitchen overalls. I'm in my clothes, ready to do some hotel work. A lot of people thought it was haunted. It was just this legend. They said that a white lady haunted. It was known as the Haven.
I can't do much noise because I have kids sleeping. And wife.
People in the Welsh valleys were very religious in a formal sense. You know, they all went to church and Sunday. As well as that, they had this strong belief in the supernatural that was older, that dated back way before Christianity, and they held on to that. My career has been mainly as a writer and a journalist, and my other interest is folklore, which is what I did my PhD in. I was first with a book by a French computer scientist called Jacques Vallée called Passport to Lagunia, and the subtitle was From Folklore to Flying.
Oh, my neck, guys. My neck. I have to do this. It helps. Look. I rub it a bit and I feel much better.
If nothing else, I think this is part of our folklore. This is something that we should be studying as part of our folklore. So that's what really got me into the folklore aspect of this, and looking at some of these old traditions and stories, and they are particularly rich in Wales. When Celtic folklore, fairies are enormously important, and still are, even to this day.
Let me see if I can see my own live on YouTube.
Fairies or little Tinkerbell characters, and that these creatures were sort of benevolent, and that they were wanting to help humans with their magic spells and this kind of thing. Fairies in Welsh tradition didn't behave anything like the modern idea. We were talking about a race of
I cannot find it.
who coexisted with us, and they were never very friendly. They had all kinds of amazing abilities, like the ability to sort of travel at tremendous speed, to magic people away, to erase their memory. So they played tricks on people.
Nice. I can find my own live. Look, guys, I'm gonna talk with like I'm myself.
Mother was in the third room along there. Second floor.
I just found another tool.
As soon as I got to bed, I could see this huge big light was pulsating.
She looked through the window and she saw this thing sort of hovering.
It was so expensive that I could not do it on my own.
And these two, well, I don't know what you call them, figures that come out of it.
They had very long arms and very long legs, but they had no features at all.
Oh my God, this is creepy.
Steady, from what she said. She shouted, "What do you want?" He had some chickens not far from there, and I think she was worried about her chickens more than anything else.
And as I did that, the heat fell up so bad.
The heat of the disc.
This flying saucer went up with such a speed.
She felt the heat. Guys, my friend of the yesterday video I put, the video today, he also felt the light was warm when it passed on top of him.
My father returned a day or two later, she told him. And my father wrote to tell me about it, and I thought it was ridiculous. I said to myself, they've all gone mad, you know, the school children, and my mother by the sound of it. When I
My
ate
racket,
that,
guys.
my dad said, whatever this thing was,
So
it was
there's a
meant
little
to
one
harm.
here, but they
I said,
fly very fast.
look, we walked up the field together, and there was this mark on the ground. The grass looked as though it was burnt.
Mark on the ground, on the grass.
It was the ridge more than anything else, really, as though something had been in there.
When I started looking into these stories, I was writing to the Ministry of Defence and visiting some of these people and interviewing them. Then we got freedom of information.
Yeah, cut this little one.
Information out of the government. We can get files from 20, 30, 40 years ago that we've never been able to see. And the West Wales incidents were in there. Rosa Grenville writes to her local MP, Nicholas Edwards. This has left me greatly agitated and disturbed, and not the least bit desirous of another encounter. I love that phrase. Nicholas Edwards sends this to the Minister of Defence, who contacts Harriet Brody, speaks to the Community Relations Officer.
I went there, spoke to the lady. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any evidence, any physical evidence that anything had landed there. I then, as I did all this, passed that report up to the Ministry of Defence. I'm unable to offer any explanation other than above, but should a UFO arrive at RAF Brody, we will charge normal landing fees and inform you immediately.
What came back was that they knew.
Abacat pear, anyone?
They had asked us not to talk about
Does
it.
anyone want an abacatus
They
pear?
didn't want people frightened.
It's a bit green yet, a bit hard.
I am absolutely positive that no human being can simulate the extreme agitation, the extreme fright which some of these people have undergone and have accepted.
Sarah, don't worry, you can fall asleep if you want.
I had my experience. Nothing has changed since then.
Find a comfortable position to have some rest.
How it is now. Just a little bit further down is where my experience started. And
Okay, he's gonna show the place now.
on my own. If you look across there now, that the field in the background with a big slope. On the top of that was a globe. And
There it is.
That in this globe was like an upside down saucer. And I heard the hedge moving a little bit further down. And it was very, very quiet. And then this thing stepped out of the hedge.
There's the moon. There's the moon, guys.
Got the hedge right here. And I was up for the gate there. It was a good 7 feet tall. It had like a silver
2 meters.
motorbike visor. That's all it had for
The
a-
alien was 2 meters in a suit.
I thought, good God, what is that? What is that? I thought, that's not a man. No way is that a man.
Very skinny.
Looking up towards me. I thought, no, this isn't happening. I back up onto the laneway there. As you can imagine, I was quite scared. I stood here.
Hello, country boy. Very good to see you, brother.
So I legged it, I run up to where that telegraph pole is. You can imagine how I'm running now. So I got to here, something told me, turn around and stop and have a look. So I stopped and I turned around and it was standing where that bare patch is in the middle of the road, staring.
Oh my God, he
It
was.
was unbelievable. And I thought, no, I'm going. I'm not having this. I'm legged it home.
I legged.
The dark thing I was thinking
I'm
about,
sorry, guys.
getting out about,
I feel
and at the
in their
time,
faces, in his
this movie
face,
had a lot of
I
soft mud on the
feel
edge of it. And the
scared,
dark thing I did notice
but
one massive
I
footprint.
also feel he's a bit.
Expected to be an ordinary man's footprint. Even a footprint about that size.
He's a bit
She said, well,
afraid
Gary
of
Foley
ridicule.
got in touch with me.
So
And oh, she said, tell me.
you
Well, she
can
said,
see
what
his
did you think
fear,
when I
but at
told
the
you that
same
the ice
time, you
cream,
can
right?
feel that he's
And she
almost
said,
gonna
you like the
laugh
story? I said, yeah. I said, all right.
because
And then it was the
he knows
unexpected.
that what he's
4
saying
weeks after
has
something like that,
no sense at all.
she seemed virtually the same as what I see.
When you're an ordinary farming family and you have
Crazy,
faces
guys,
in
very crazy.
spaceships and creatures from another planet, how do you persuade
Family
friends,
sister.
neighbors, and the world in general that you've not taken leave of your senses? That's the constant problem that's faced Billy and Pauline Combs since they became involved in one of the country's most celebrated UFO sightings 2 years ago.
It started off with a car drive. Pauline Coombs was driving back.
Damn, these guys are gonna have
With three of the
a
children in the
good
car,
journey now.
and the youngest one, Kieran, saw what looked like a football-shaped object that was following them along this dirt road.
Can you see?
And they got more and more worked up about this and frightened. The car engine stalled.
When it happened in the first
Car
place,
engine stalls.
imagining things, but there's been so much, happening to this place that I've found to believe it is definitely happening.
Billy Coombs was a herdsman. He was responsible for, I think, about 120 dairy cattle. One night, the gate was tied and bolted. And
This farmer,
being distracted by
120 cows.
This must have been about 11 o'clock at night. Then he got a call from his neighbour on another farm about a mile and a half away saying, why are all your cows in my yard?
So his cows went to his neighbor's yard.
You had 120 cows teleport.
120 cows teleported to another farm, guys.
And then after that came the silver-suited man.
Oh, I can hear myself on my other cell. Weird.
It was 10 on a Thursday. I had to make a cup of tea to watch Late Night Film.
This looks very similar to Skinwalker. Maybe Skinwalker got the idea from these guys.
I got up and I couldn't believe my eyes. I got up and went straight to the window and looked up, and when he was above the window, it's at least 8 feet, at least.
This thing was like totally.
Oh my god, oh my god.
When Pauline went upstairs to wake the two young daughters, this thing's head was just below the bedroom window. And she could see that it had no face, no facial features, at all exactly what I'd seen.
Oh my god. It occupied both floors.
Police were called out the night of the incident.
Oh my god. Oh, I didn't know this case was like this. Hello, Sky's brother. Very good to see you. Very good to see you. Have an awesome night, guy, Mr. Skies. 3 420. No, I'm joking.
And other times, you'll
30 45.
And we heard the doorbell ring, and we'd not seen anyone approach the hotel, come up the drive, either in a car or on foot.
This is fair use, guys. We're just showing a few images and some audio clips.
They looked like identical twins. They had hair that was slicked back like patent leather. But what I found quite remarkable was their complexion.
I'm using my front camera.
Well, it didn't have a blue mark in their faces, as if they were made of wax.
They were made
They
of
said to
wax.
her, "We'd like to come back and speak to you at length, but we have an appointment in Groescourt." I got a bit worried about this because, I mean, they looked so odd. They walked towards their vehicle.
Men in black.
They just vanished.
Those were the men in black before, without the hats in Europe, in Wales.
Which is really odd. She said basically at the same time they were with us, they were there as well. The second incident was late afternoon. My mother and I were sat in the restaurant when we noticed something in the sky. It was like a silver disc. Looking at it at first, and then it seemed to pulsate light, an orange light.
Orange lights again, guys.
Well, this time I had to ring Mrs. Combs to prove to me that I wasn't seeing things. And she said, "Yes, we are watching it now. My mum, my dad, and all our children, we're all watching it." To us, it seemed to go down into the sea. But the Coombs had seen it and they said it had gone into the Stack Rock, which is an island.
Wow, guys, this is very good. Do you guys know Stack Rock?
And obviously they could both see it from their respective homes from a different angle.
Look, look, look. The rock opened like a door and they disappeared. Oh my god, I'm shivering completely, guys.
Ship's logs have information about UFOs coming out of the water, hovering next to the ships, and then taking off, going back into the 1800s.
So basically that was a portal opening in the rock so that people thought that it was the rock opening for them to go in.
That is that they are very often associated with water. They're very often seen coming out of water, seen going into water, and sometimes seen underwater. So we now know that planets are very common. In fact, planets in the habitable zone, which is the region where you can potentially have liquid water on the surface, those planets are relatively common. About 1 in 5 stars has a planet in the habitable zone, which is really pretty remarkable when you think about it. Oceans are great places to live, especially if you're going to go from planet to planet. Atmospheres are not
Yes, we know that for us to travel to other planets, we're gonna have to use cyborgs with AI because humans don't have the capable bodies to withstand age and radiation. I just ate a banana, a muffin, and some chocolate. But before Sarah, I ate a sandwich with turkey ham, cheese without lactose because I cannot eat lactose, and butter. And I got my
So there is this idea that if things are visiting us from somewhere else,
my little wine here.
they miles away from anywhere that we are not familiar
Here
with.
it is.
What's the obvious place? Under the oceans.
And I got my orange juice here too.
To fit into that narrative. And I think that again goes back into Celtic mythology. The islands off the coast were seen as magical islands.
Cheese fries, that looks very good.
In fact, that's where saints went and lived in isolation so that they could contact the supernatural.
I ate fries at dinner, packed, the plastic bag fries.
Well, I couldn't see his face because it was too far away.
I don't think I was the only one that said that. I'm not sure. Somebody walking near it to the right hand side of it.
I saw a man come out of the door. He had pointed ears and a furry hat.
Furry hat.
I think there were two or three that claimed they'd seen occupants. Now, I never saw these occupants for myself. I can't verify that anybody actually did, or whether it was juvenile elaboration. But
That's
it brings
good,
a whole
very
new
good.
depth into it, because if they really did see the occupants, then something bigger than we all think happened here that day.
Yeah, he's trying to think if he was taken or not.
Said, we've moved on a step. We've moved from unidentified flying objects. We're now into spacemen. My wife said, well, what does it look like? And I said, well, apparently he or she, because we don't know, wears a space suit which is silver, sort of a dark visor where you might imagine the eyes would be. And she said, well, I've seen it. And I thought, well, cracky. And no, she said, I have genuinely. She said, but it's in the shop window in Halford West. I went down there, had a look, and it was a firefighting suit. Because at Milford Head, there's a large oil refinery, and they had specialist equipment, which included these suits.
Can you see this, guys? Very good.
Fires with very intense heat. And I believe that in years after the event, somebody locally admitted to being a prankster, wandering around in one of these suits. Personally, I find very disappointing because it rather muddied the waters.
Awesome hoax, guys. Look. North Alabama, Mr. and Mrs. and AC. So good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Very good to see you. Have a blessed night, guys.
Do that by some real experiences. At one point, he had to dive into some undergrowth because a lady appeared at the door aiming what appeared to be a gun.
The temptation is to think the Combs family must be either daft or mistaken.
Yeah, very, very sad to be. It still doesn't explain the craft. The craft is the most important thing. It's not the suit.
People are claiming that they are seeing things which cannot be scientifically explained.
It wasn't just here. There's a number of locations around Guernsey where the same thing was going on.
The Ministry of Defence, there was something like 450 separate...
Oh my God, can you see 450 cases?
I've actually tracked down and interviewed some of the people who were working there at the time. I mean, some of them were saying maybe there was something going on, but 450 sightings, we just simply didn't have people to send out and look into each one of those. I just happened to look out and I saw something in the sky.
It was a dome-shaped object.
Glowing with a pale cream light.
Oh, crazy, guys. Very crazy.
Well, I'm hoping that the government will step in, scientists will step in to help us understand what these things are.
The Sky Watchers seek one objective, yet another flying saucer to add to the lengthy list of claimed sightings over Pembrokeshire countryside.
There was a lot of pressure on the Ministry of Defence building up into 1978 because the number of the sightings were increasing, the press...
Yeah, Mushroom, always hear your woman. Remember, they know the best.
Either to RAF broadly or within Wales generally, by aircraft that were flown by the military or by operators.
Are you all honestly going to say that you think that the things you saw were, shall we say, not of this world?
Yes.
Right. People who said, oh, they made it up for the publicity.
Manny, I had a rule when my wife was just girlfriend that I had to be the last person talking to her before she went to bed.
We've been ridiculed by a lot of people, and when you're growing up, you
I
know,
try to maintain that rule now still.
because you've seen no green men.
My mother didn't really want too many people to know about what she had seen. What was the story of the White Lady? It frightened most people.
Oh my god, wait.
The idea that there might be a ghost there. A story about anything else that was paranormal would make things worse. Some people said, oh, you've done it to have business, but no, we had not. A hotel which had opened near Milford Haven. They had started having UFO weekends. They would give people a flask of soup and some sandwiches and send them out, on maybe, 4-mile walks.
I told my school teacher and he said, you sure your eyes were playing tricks? And I said, oh. I said, my eyes don't play tricks on me. I said, no, they don't. And I said, and I'm not stupid. I said, far from it. I said, what I saw, I saw.
This thing got up the hill to me, jumped over this gate, and I thought there was something wrong about it. Like no man would jump that gate.
Spaceman of the Terror Triangle. A towering airy figure in a blue and silver suit broke the window of a lonely firm cottage. My Auntie Pauline, I've showed her some of these cuttings and whatever, and oh no, she said, don't bring that up. She said, leave it where it is. I said, we gotta talk about it sometime, No, she said, well, she said, me and the girl, she said, we don't talk about it at all.
Let's have the clear cigar shape with the dome on top of that.
What I didn't enjoy was the attention that it brought on to me. My first 4 years of secondary school, they were horrendous. I was
He
getting
was
physically
bullied.
assaulted on an almost daily basis. Most of the time they wanted me to say that I hadn't seen a UFO. They just wanted me to say that I was lying. But I just couldn't do that. I just couldn't go back on my principles and say that I was lying when I wasn't.
And we've got some young people in the studio who claim to have had encounters of their very own.
In 1978, I appeared on a TV program called Magpie.
That's David, Philip, and Sean down here. Now,
If you were to see the film of me on Magpie and look closely, you would see that I have a black eye.
We were watching it for about 5 or 6 seconds, and we just ran off. We were so scared.
That was given to me for the television. Let them try and cover that up with makeup. With the bullying and the aggression that I got because of it, I just thought I have to speak out because there's other people who are going through the same thing that have done nothing but report something that they've seen. It was something that I felt had to be done.
So like a door, and all of a sudden this sort of person just sort of walked out.
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to say that I saw something
Bless
45
Manny.
years ago that I can't explain. And to this day, I still can't.
Having done the work I have done, I can give you every assurance on one point, that if the public knew precisely what the presence of UFOs mean, they would literally run for their lives.
Randall Pugh had heard that my mother had had this sighting, and he came to see us. And he said that she should tell people about it, in a way to back up what the children had seen.
A lot of people were calling the losses of names.
Nice one, Sarah. Nice one.
Then I had to come forward and say there are definitely
Don't take too much.
UFOs
I'm playing,
What were the
sister.
figures like?
Well, they were very tall, the arms were exceptionally long, their legs were exceptionally long, and for all they
Oh,
they
yes,
looked as if
exactly.
they had boiler suits on,
Exactly,
shiny
Manny.
boiler suits, and they had sort of a pointed head, there's something like pointed going. and they definitely didn't have face. They were faceless people with no eyes, no
I
mouth,
like
not even whole or bent.
bringing the cakes
It's here.
cheaper at
Which
the
we
end
don't
of the
necessarily know
day.
what it is, but it
That
is.
looks very good for me. And for you, Manny, too, I hope.
Hysteria, or is there some reality in the unreal? The people who live around Broadhaven will tell you that what they've experienced is real enough.
What the story's about is the re-enchantment of the environment. People used to believe in all kinds of weird stuff. In modern times, we don't believe in those kinds of creatures, but weird stuff is still here. Obviously,
Guys, remember, Wales is a very ancient country.
sort of weird experiences, but they're expressing them in the pop culture of the time.
And I'm sure that it has a lot of history, and that history, some of it has to remain somewhere in nature. Remember, guys.
The UFO sighting, it had a major effect on me. I've never been prejudiced in any way regarding race, sexuality, etc. And this all stems from this visitation that we had here at this school. Because if you can accept the possibility that there may be aliens coming to visit us on this planet, then you can accept anything.
Yes, exactly. Counter nature, they don't want that.
When I gave my first presentation, my first scientific presentation on UAPs, and was discussing their flight characteristics, their speeds and accelerations, one of my colleagues asked me, why would you do this? Why are you studying this? Why put yourself in this position? I'm always worried about getting into it because there's a huge stigma around this. I mean, you mention UFOs and everybody giggles and nobody takes it seriously. But now here we are, and we have ourselves completed the first stages of the exploration of our solar system. We visited all the major bodies. We're now moving to the outer bodies of the Kuiper Belt, and we have robots operating on Mars right now. We still, even after that, have this idea that it's impossible for aliens to come visit us. It's not impossible at all. In fact, I think it's rather probable.
Okay, I'm gonna put this forward, guys, because this is stuff we know already. Oh, it's finished. Okay. Nice one, Sarah. Okay, this is the last episode. It's called Okay, so they're gonna talk about Japan, that place where the reactor melted. He saw a UFO once over there, just over this house. It moved like his knees bent. The only thing that he was missing was to believe. Straight after the earthquake that ruptured Fukushima.
Off the east coast of Japan here, they
8.9. There were many houses there.
Tsunami warning center has issued a tsunami warning for Japan, Russia, Marcus Island. The northern
Devastated by the tsunami.
Devastation, guys.
should evacuate immediately to higher ground.
He's showing his village. Look, everything fallen.
Warning of a possible nuclear reactor meltdown.
We keep hearing that the coolant system is not working.
A China syndrome meltdown and radiation leaks. The clock is ticking. Every minute that passes, we come closer to the time when it could be accepted.
There it is. There was a boom there, look. They didn't show us this then? I don't remember. Nice and Sarah. I'm on the step before. Look at the UFO over there. Do you see it? Look. Can you see? Many of them straight after the explosion. He was shocked. This is no joke, guys. Very good. Oh, amazing. You see how they were moving, just like floating. They use something else, guys. They use magnetism from the other planets, from this planet. They don't want us all flying in the air like crazy people and dying all over the air because we're just flying, you know, and falling. Many stupid people in the world. Many people will die if this technology comes out. The UFO I saw in the 19th of August when I came back from holidays, it looked like a sail, like a V, but with an arch down, 2 arches. That's what I called it, a sail from a boat. Okay, I have to translate. He's talking about many people had to run away when there was the earthquake. Much was taken to the sea. He's talking about the spheres.
さんあるのを見て、で、光によってそれもちょっと青白い。
There were white balls in tones of blue and white. Very beautiful lights. Oh yes, Manny, of course. But I don't know. I don't think it's too big technology to come out, you know, to be commercialized. The only thing I can explain is that technology to make us fly, like on Iron Man or something like that, it can be very destructive too. So many steps to before it will come out. I'm sure of that. It will take a long time. Yes, exactly, Manny. Very possible. No, Manny. I don't know, from that name. I don't remember anything. You seem very knowledgeable, Manny. Oh, the movie, no.
I think there is a very clear
No,
connection
Manny.
between
I
UAP
don't think so.
activity and nuclear power plants. And I think that this has gone back for decades. My personal view, on the basis of over 30 years of very extensive research, is that there is an advanced
Stephen
extraterrestrial
Baxter,
presence operating
World's
basically on
Engine
Earth
Book.
and in the oceans. And one of the biggest things that we have to come to grips with.
Oh, I think I've seen this video here. Are you talking about this, Manny?
Some of the classified U.S. government reports that go back.
This video here?
Are amazing.
I think I've seen this video before.
A bit ambiguous. FBI documentation, CIA documentation. It goes back to the 1930s, to when the science and research was being done to understand fission.
Ah,
And
books.
it really heats up in the 1940s, in particular right after the detonation of the 2 atomic bombs in Japan in 1945.
Is it? Wait a second, Manny.
You see one after another event occurring in proximity, specifically to sites associated with nuclear weapons. So Los Alamos.
Okay, I'm lost now.
Sandia.
It's this guy you're talking, this guy here. This one here, right, Manny?
Just boom, boom, boom.
This one here?
They don't miss anything. If you look at a lot of the UAP displays as they are recounted by witnesses, really credible witnesses, there is a kind of signaling to us. You know, in the Fukushima.
Okay, I'll have a look.
Disaster,
Let me save
there were
him.
many reports of UFO activity.
Forbidden Planet. Okay, this one here is good. This one is very good. Look at how they move. They are like, they're like floating.
In 1986 in Chernobyl, when Unit 4 malfunctioned, there was a lot of UFO activity reported
One
there
thing
also.
I can be sure, guys,
At the height of the
if
fire
this
in
is
Chernobyl,
happening,
the
either
reading was
the
3,000
UFOs, the
which
aliens
is the
are,
unit of ionized
they worry
radiation.
about us,
And right at the height of the
or
fire, many people observed a UFO come.
this
Wait
is
3 minutes.
a
No
hidden
light.
civilization
Moving
that
forward,
wants to help
departed. They took another
us
reading and
earthlings,
apparently dropped to 800.
or it may be the secret services of
Seems like a very
America, I don't know, of any given country, or England maybe, maybe the secret services of the Queen, of the King of England, maybe, that are just there to help and to monitor. I don't know.
4 hours ago was a town of 71,000 people, now completely underwater. No structure, still standing.
Very confusing. I understand what you mean, Sarah.
やっぱりそういう目に見えない力、神の力とかですね、UFO の力して助けてくれたと思う。
Yes, the birds, and I bet the birds, they are in very big numbers.
Aliens and the whole question of outer space were depicted in various ways in Japanese popular culture, and many anime and manga stories take
The
place.
Flutino birds, are those the birds in the
When people ask me about
that wear that bag, the Anunnakis?
energy, so soon after the nation was devastated by nuclear bomb. And then the other more important aspect is that Astro Boy is half boy, half robot. His father, the doctor, created Astro Boy because his own son was killed. So it doesn't take a very big leap to say family members were killed in war. And so let's use technology to create something new and give us a future. So there was enormous faith in technology born out.
My God, my camera is very good.
In a way, that was the expression of the subconscious of Japanese in the post-war period. And what you see, starting with Astro Boy, is these characters that are half this, half
Can you
that.
see my coffee grinder over there?
Ultraman's character is so wonderful because Ultraman is from a planet, another planet, and he screws up.
They're talking about Ultraman.
And he crashes into a human ship, which is piloted by this science patrol guy. And Ultraman decides, I'm so ashamed that I hit this guy's ship. I'm going to merge with him. So they merge together, and that becomes Ultraman. It's an alien merging with a human, and of course Ultraman embodies that notion that some aliens are really good. They're actually trying to protect people. And as a kid, I loved that idea.
My flock, sorry sis.
なぜか宇宙人のことを考える。姿自体はそんなにイメージできなかったんですよ。ただ、彼らのあったかい感じ
I forgot, sorry sis. Now you have the ranch too.
彼らは存在している。7歳の自分はそう確信している。
Actually, let me see if I can catch.
姿は見せない。だけど彼らは常に私たちを見ている。
I don't know what you're hoping to get, but I am a professor. And I'm not a ufologist. So I'm a professor of religious studies.
and so I study religion. To focus on whether it's real or not is actually focusing on the wrong thing. We really should be looking at the meaning of these events for people because it has
Woman Dragon, are you here still?
but also the belief in UFOs is now a new global belief system. It's different than a religion, but it's religious-like. If you look at my research, there's a
I'm
continuation,
just missing
a theme
her to give her the range.
that are unknown, and then trying to identify them. And today, we're still seeing that people see things in the sky, but what they're seeing in the sky today is
Wow, Manny, that looks a very nice story, or even reality. We don't know, even if it isn't it. It could be true.
That's a UFO.
私個人的にはね、個人的には UFO はあってほしいんですけれど、
Also, the Futino birds win at the end.
それを探してみるけど、ないんですよ、証拠が。見つからない。1947年に UFO 伝説がアメリカから始まったんですよ。だからそれ以前の写真とか絵は全く見つからないんですよね。でそれをまあいろいろ調べてた時に、
Okay, he's talking that in Japan they have drawings. Look. Of the UFOs. Look, look, look. And it's the media, the local media. They get the drawings, guys.
いろいろ調べたんですけれど、江戸時代にこういう形状の船はなかなかないんですよね。
Look at this one. Almost look like one of those of Preston Dennett. Wow, that's very good, guys. Very good. Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, guys, and my cell phone is gonna turn off. Okay, I got it. I got it, guys. I got it, guys. I got it. Damn, that was very close. Oh, that's good, guys.
Japan doesn't really have a religion the way we use the word in English. An institutionalized religion is nothing like the Ten Commandments. Ethical characteristics in Japanese culture are learned through school and through family. So behavior and identity is rooted in context. In this context, you behave a certain way, you can be a certain identity, and then in this other context, you can be something else.
Fair use, guys. We are just commenting, showing some audio, some little clips of this very nice show.
Know perhaps that you're one of them.
とてもやりたいことがあってやってきたんだなっていうことを今思い出してください。
It's a mystery, but it's also a strength in that Japan can embrace what we think of as
Yes, the Fortino birds want. I think he's saying that the Fortino birds are like the secret government the shadow government, right?
3ヶ月後にうちの家内と一緒に接近遭遇してるんで、それがもう大きなターニングポイントになった。人生観が180度変わるなんていうのは言葉としては聞いてたけれども、もう真夜中の2時超えてたと思うんです。なんか誰かが見てるってうちの
Exactly, very. We cannot look away from the bubble because we don't have that capabilities. The world is too big.
悪い明るい光が見えて、それが、どんどん近づいてきて、
もうこっちぶったまげちゃって、真正面、黄金色の UFO がこうやって対空してるんですよ。
彼がすごい UFO に語りかけているので、それに対してすごいまたフラッシュしたり。
黄金色に輝いてた UFO がすごい深いピンク色の光をこうブワーッと放射して、それはあたかも大丈夫だよみたいな感じで You are welcome みたいな感じで。
Like the guy is saying that the way the UFO appeared, it just said, everything's alright, don't worry. Weird, like, how do they know us so well? Oh yes, Manny, you're very sure. We cannot be the prime of the species of the universe, of course not. I'm not saying we are not capable of that, but we are capable of a lot if we are on those circumstances.
1803年に宇都宮はこの浜に流れ着いたことになってるんですよね。遠くに宇都宮が見えたんですよね。それで女性が船を使ってその宇都宮を捕まえて、で海岸に引っ張っていったというそういう伝説です。でそれで中を見たら綺麗な女性が一人いたんですね。アメリカの UFO 伝説には1947年に始まったんですけれど、この事件が起きたのは1803年なんですね。おそらく世界で最初のそういう円盤型に乗った異界からの訪問者の伝説だと思いますね。ある時寝ていた時に明晰夢の時に宇宙人が5人現れて、一番真ん中の宇宙人が緑、両サイドがホワイトの宇宙人で発光してます。そして私はずっと待っていたから、ああやっと来てくれたのねって言って、好きにしてくださいって言ってこういうふうに手を広げた。久しぶりの友達に再会するようなすごく嬉しい気持ちになって、全てを手放して委ねたんですよ。そしたら緑の宇宙人から順番に私のここのチャクラにビームをくれて、全員が。で私はこの上ない至福感に生まれて、その5人の宇宙人っていうのは私に分かりやすく宇宙人の形として現れてくれたんだと思う。光そのものだったんですけれども、宇宙人の形として見せてくれていた。
Okay. So this question of what we see in the sky, is this objective
or is it just subjective? Did we just actually just see that, and is it real? And if you go back into the historical record, especially in the West, you see that there are things in the sky that actually do produce real effects on people. Okay, so one case would be the stigmata of St. Francis. St. Francis sees what he calls a torch, and it emits some sort of light. It basically zaps him with this light, and he gets what in the Catholic tradition are called the stigmata, or the wounds of Christ. So he gets burned. The things of religion are also unbelievable. Angels coming down and speaking to people, walking on water. These are also things that are unbelievable, and we only have eyewitness accounts of those. And we tend to believe those without question. So why do you separate the categories of belief? You believe this unbelievable thing, but you don't believe in things that we actually have some evidence for, which are UFOs.
お化けの話とか不思議な話っていうのはみんな興味深く怖いものっていうふうに思ってる、お化けとかで。そうじゃなくて、この福島、宮城、岩手の人々、この地震にあった人たちっていうのは今まで一緒に住んでた人たちが戻ってきてるっていう感覚を持ってるんですね。こうやって車でこう人を探している時に青白く明るいボワッとこうボワッっていう感じの明かりがこういうところの上に上がってるっていうのが大体普通でした。ここにこうあるとちょうどこの運転席のところに人が死んでたという感じ、ちょうどこの辺にあってこの運転席にあるという、そういう感じで考えていただけるといいかな。人玉ってわかりますかね。火の玉というか、明るいこう光の玉がポッとこう浮いてるもの、それはいくつも見ました。日本では人が死ぬとその魂が光の玉になって天に上がっていく。
Okay, so guys, he's telling that the souls of the dead become orbs of light when people pass away. So he's trying to associate a little bit. After many people died, they saw the ball of light, and that's what they think it was, the souls of people.
でもその不思議なことが普通に日常であるかのように、普通に毎日我々が生活しているように残っているんだと。それがやっぱり非常に
This is fair use, guys. We are just commenting and showing the public a little bit of what this show is about and how the news are about this topic.
私はここで生まれてここで育ちました。
Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
気が高いんですよね。パワーが強いところなんですね。エネルギーが強いところ。ここは天に通ずる場所だと言った人もいましたね。ですからこの UFO も気持ちがいいというか、こういうところに集まるんじゃないかと、来るんじゃないかっていう、これ私の考え方ですよ。それはね。
Japanese folklore is full of these stories of the spirits in the world around you. Hayao Miyazaki, one of his most popular films in the world, is My Neighbor Totoro. And Totoro is this big, fuzzy creature that could be terrifying. You see that his mouth is full of these huge teeth. But when I interviewed Miyazaki himself and asked him, Mr. Miyazaki, what is Totoro? You know, his answer was very quick. He just said, Totoro is Totoro. It's just Totoro. say that the supernatural and the natural in Japanese art and Japanese sensibility are both interconnected and intertwined, but at the same time, you wouldn't even think of them as separate entities. So they don't need to be intertwined. They're not two things that need to be together. They are of a piece, one thing.
確かに目撃者いますね。UFO を見た目撃者とか、エイリアンを見た目撃者いるんですけれど、やはり証言だけなんですよ。飛行機とか他のものと見間違える可能性が非常に高いわけですよ。3月11日の UFO も多分そういうもんでしょう。
エビデンスいらない。そんなマテリアリスティックなこといらない。それよりも we better to feel the echo。
あんまり宇宙人の話とかはしないようにしてます。余計クレイジーに思われるから。クレイジーに思われても別に構わないけど、上手に伝わらないと残念だなと思う。3.11の時に光があった UFO たちが来たこの地球を守るためにっていう何かバランスいろんなことがあったんだと思うんですけれども、何が起きても不思議じゃないって感じ。大きなエネルギーがあるところは、私がもし宇宙人だって地球外生命体だったら大きなエネルギーが現れてるところをちょっと様子見に行きたいなって思いますよ。
If you have hundreds of well-documented UAP events around your nuclear sites, that's a really clear
Nuclear sites and UFOs again. So they're talking a bit of politics now. This is fair use, guys. 11 minutes to go. I'm gonna put the first episode after because I missed it on the live. Actually, it was the first. It was the best one for me. No, the second one, the children one, was the best. The second. Stay blessed, guys. I'm coming back soon. I'm just preparing some food.
All of the witness accounts have a certain degree of consistency to them, which is a UAP arrives at the site.
I got a call that morning that they were seeing strange lights flying in the sky. I disregarded that call, told them to call when something more significant happened.
It doesn't matter if it's Malmstrom Air Force Base or F.E. Warren or Lino, it just doesn't matter.
I got another call subsequent to that call, and this time it was a more intense tone. The guard's voice is very clearly very frightened. He said there was a bright, glowing red object hovering outside the front gate.
It's in restricted airspace. It hovers. It shines a light on these nuclear weapons.
Right after that call, my weapons started going down, one after the other. They went into a no-go condition, what we call no-go condition. They were unlaunchable.
And that's not the only site where that has occurred.
Reporting it to the command post, we were informed that a very similar incident happened at Echo Flight. They lost all 10 of their weapons under similar circumstances, very similar circumstances, where UFOs were sighted over the launch facilities.
原発ですから放射能エネルギーありますよね。だからその UFO は人間を助けに来たというか、それを調整した磁場調整じゃないかって、それは私が勝手に考えてます。だから今はこれだけでね、被害がなくて済んだのかなと思いますね。
When Japanese people talk about extraterrestrials or UFOs or why they're here, a lot of it is about achieving or restoring balance. That modern life is out of harmony. And the benevolent view is that aliens, whatever you want to call them, are coming in or are concerned and are trying to restore a sense of balance to the world.
ああ、地球人たち、アースリングの我らのブラザー&シスターズは核エネルギーを使うっていうことを始めたよ。で、まあそれはすごいなって。地球人類も随分進化したな。そういうテクノロジーとかね。で、だけどちょっとほっとけないなと。原子力は危険性が高いわけですよね。子供がキッチン行って火をねつけてフライパンでやる3歳の子供がねやるとしたらそれはもう危ない。親はやっぱり気をつけなきゃいけない。そんな感じだと思うんですよ、宇宙人。
宇宙人怖がなくていいよ。怖がなくていい。宇宙人は人間の味方だと思ってください。そう。まあ悪い宇宙人に会ったことないからね。
バランスをちゃんと取るようにしたんだと思うんですけれども、それも愛のエネルギーの表れだと思います。
I think this is an intelligence that recognizes the depth of human creativity and wants to preserve it. I think this intelligence cares about us. I think this intelligence does not want us to go extinct. That's what I think is really being communicated. We're right here with you. Just open your hearts, open your minds. We'd like to help you. And, let's get to know one another. I think that's really what the message is.
震災っていうのは非常に自分の心を痛める経験だったわけですけれども、でそのビビッドな UFO 遭遇エネルギーに包まれた。でその時に癒されました。だから彼らの存在って本当に
Okay, guys, I'm done.
A UFO is an event. When a person has
Oh, you're gonna like that.
they've seen a UFO, they're different afterwards. I know this.
I got another call subsequent to that.
And the benevolent view is that aliens, whatever you want to call them, are coming in.
This part is important, guys.
Trying to restore a sense of balance to the world.
ああ、地球人たち、アースリング、我らのブラザー&シスターは核エネルギーを使うっていうことを始めたよ。で、まあそれはすごいなって。地球人類も随分進化したな。そういうテクノロジーとかね。で、だけどちょっとほっとけないなと。
They're talking about the UFOs keeping monitoring us.
子供がキッチン行って火をねつけてフライパンでやる3歳の子供がねやるとしたらそれはもう危ない。親はやっぱり気をつけなきゃいけない。そんな感じだと思うんですよ、宇宙人。
They're saying the aliens, they are our fathers. You don't have to be fearful.
人間の味方だと思ってください。そう。まあ悪い宇宙
人に会ったことないからね、だって。
バランスをちゃんと取るようにしたんだと思うんですけれども、それも愛のエネルギーの表れだと思います。
They say that's how they express their love.
I think this is an intelligence that recognizes the depth of human creativity and wants to preserve it. I think this intelligence cares about us. I think this intelligence does not want us to go extinct. That's what I think is really being communicated. We're right here with you. Just open your hearts, open your minds. We'd like to help you. And, let's get to know one another. I think that's really what the message is.
震災っていうのは非常に自分の心を痛める。
He's talking about the disaster in Fukushima. It was terrible, but when he had the experience with UFO, being involved by its energy, he felt that he was cured. Their existence was truly good, benevolent.
A UFO is an event. When a person has an experience, say they see a UFO, they're different afterwards. I know this sounds really strange, but the relationship to the cosmos changed for these people. Almost like a religious conversion experience. It changes their worldview.
Almost
it
like
changes
religion.
The way they work. It changes their relationships to people. It fundamentally, completely changes them.
これはね、2016年に
2016, he experiments an astral kidnapped. Only his astral body was kidnapped and taken into the UFO. There was a screen in front of him. He's telling us what he learned there. He learned that the earth is alive. A lot of incidents, everybody passes through trauma. In these situations, people can hate each other or have negative feelings. Eventually, their conscience becomes foggy. Each of us has to clean their conscience, just like in infancy. Each born conscience is born without preconcepts. We have to clean our conscience and purify. A cosmic civilization awaits. Earth will shine a golden light. That was the last thing he was shown on his screen. The golden age will arrive to Earth. He truly believes this, guys. Humans are born in this world for a reason. So we need to make an effort to keep it pacific. With the power of God, the aliens... Oh, I have to put this again. Okay. It's an invisible power, the power of God, the power of the UFOs. We have to lend the beings to be on this earth.
When you talk about UFOs, I think the Japanese story about it is the ability to embrace mystery and let it be. It's not that what is seen is different, it's the the way the story is told about the experience that I think
Very good, guys.
it's really hard. It's much less about this complete otherness.
These episodes hasn't been
The alien
any news for me.
just is. And that's enough.
He was shown people with very good hearts, very beautiful people. He tells him that the lights taught him that. Very good, guys. Okay, I wanted to show you. The first episode. Yep. Okay, we're gonna do another episode very quickly, guys. We are on 2 hours and 16 minutes, so it's gonna be just maybe half an hour.
When we first moved here in March of 2020, the very first time that I saw something in the sky, I really hesitated to say
It's called The Messengers, the first episode.
maybe 3-4 times before I mentioned it to somebody.
Bless you, Sarah. Thank you very much for being here.
This place is famous for that. Do you know who Ezekiel was? Ezekiel was a prophet. You're right. And it was a long time ago. All right. As a Homeland Security consultant, I do a lot of threat analyst work for the government. I've seen the government flat out lie, where I was standing in the location they were lying about. What I have seen here is similar to sightings that they had by the guys in the Air Force. It's the movement that catches your attention, that fast movement. That's exactly how we're seeing it here. Real right, spooky. It's something otherworldly. There's no other way to describe that. And the star they had seen guided them to Bethlehem. One of the reasons why a lot of people don't believe is because they haven't seen it. And it messes with their concept of who we are in relation to the universe. And it guided them so it knew where it was going. Right? That means it was UFO. Do I believe there's life on other planets? Yes. But I don't think these are people from another planet. I still think these are what people called angels. I think they're messengers. I'm dying to know what they've got to say.
From the beginning of recorded time, men have been seeing unexplainable things in the sky.
Are we alone in the universe?
Somewhere in the data will be something worth real inquiry.
We have not been hiding anything.
There are such things as interplanetary spaceships.
It was an alien and he had big eyes.
There's something profoundly important going on here that is authentic and real.
How much of your work is left? All of it. Everything I did all day long was classified. All of it. My name is Matthew Roberts. I was a cryptologic technician in the U.S. Navy for 16 years. I was present on the USS Theodore Roosevelt for the gimbal event. So, that was the first time I saw
gimbal footage. Can't even describe the shape. I mean, it looks a little bit disc-like. It's flying along and then it kind of tilts up onto its side. I was watching this footage and I could see no kind of aviation surfaces that you would expect to see. Wings, tail, rudders, there's none of that. So I couldn't really make sense of why this thing was kind of up in the air like it was. And I had this kind of emotional response to it. At the time, I didn't understand that. I knew that it wasn't ours, right? I knew that it wasn't anybody else's. So, I mean, that only leaves one other option, I think. Which is what? And that's non-human tech, non-human intelligence technology. Because my job was classified and I had access to classified, I was kind of aware this was not a one-off event for the Navy. These things happen frequently, all the time. They happen all the time. Stephenville, Texas, the milk capital of the world. They put out quite a bit of milk over there. There's something very strange about this area.
This is fair use, just for a review, critical review.
I grew up around here. Nothing to do in these small towns. You want to fight? Sure. And we'd have a fight. That same night, we'd go camping or go fishing on the river down there. So it's innocent fun. We'd have a good time. I've been fascinated with engines of all types since I can remember. So much where I started a trucking company, it became quite large, had quite a few people working for me. I've always owned quite a few motorcycles, boats, airplanes, just to see how it all works. It's just simply fascinating. In 2008, I had a great life, had a successful business. I guess I've been married 16, 17 years at that time. Very blessed is all I can say.
Hello.
But what I saw in the sky that night changed everything. It's been a long, cold winter, bad winter. That was the first day we had a decent day. So we came out here to the top of the hill to have a campfire. It was myself, Mike Odom, and Lance Jones. Then all of a sudden, I see some real bright, high-intensity lights off to the east, headed our way at a high velocity of speed. The lights was so bright, it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. It was almost blinding to look at them. But what amazed me is there was no wind noise, no engine noise. It was silent. When it came past us, I developed the most peaceful, easy feeling I think I've ever had in my life. It was almost like a religious experience, like I was at one with whatever it was. Something I've never had before or since then. It was unreal. And then another brief second, it just simply disappeared.
That happened to me once. orange orb light passed over my house.
3 seconds, and 2 F-16s came in hot pursuit, full afterburner hanging out. And in my head, I'm wondering, is it War of the Worlds or what was going on? I got in my car and I went back to my house, and my wife says, "What happened?" She could tell I was visibly shaking. I told her what happened, and she says, "Whatever you do, don't tell anybody about it." And she says, "People think we're crazy." And I said, "Actually, I don't care what people think about us. All I know is what I saw." That next day, I called the newspaper, Stephenville Empire Tribune, ET.
It had been a slow news day, the day that the UFO story broke. Angela Joyner was working in the newsroom, and she had gotten a call from Steve Allen, and he was a local pilot, and then he told her that he saw something strange in the sky.
He said something like, "Okay, I really need to tell you something, but I don't want you to think I'm crazy." And he began telling me a story that I found pretty incredible.
And Angela had a brief conversation with him and came to my office and said, "You're not going to believe this, but..." It was late in the afternoon, and we really had our stories together, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, check it out. And we'll talk about it tomorrow when I get to the office." I grew up in California. I got engaged, and my husband was in the dairy business, and his family had come out here. So we got married and we moved. It was a startling change for me. As managing editor, I was responsible for all of the content, and I had a lot to prove. I was the youngest editor that had ever been hired to be the managing editor of the paper. I was the second female, and I was still seen as an outsider. So inside, I was dealing with a lot of insecurity, I think. The next morning, I picked up my paper and saw "UFO" in huge font across the top of the paper. I just felt like the world was just completely knocked out of me. I thought, this is the end of my career. Steve Allen, Mike Odom, and Lance Jones were out admiring a beautiful Texas sunset Tuesday evening when they saw something none of them can explain. I had a publisher at the time, and she was the one that told Angela, "You're going with this tonight." And she changed the whole front page. She was the boss, she was the top dog, so she did whatever she wanted. But I was in charge of the newsroom, and so I felt like people were going to question my credibility, my news judgment. The ship wasn't really visible and was totally silent. But the light spanned about 1.5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. That really sent me over the edge, too. I mean, aside from the headline, just the ship. Like, we were naturally assuming that this was some kind of a spaceship out there. When I walked through those doors, I was like a crazy woman. I was furious. I remember walking into the publisher's office, and I was screaming and crying. Like, what have you done? She was like, "Well, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong about all of this. We've sold out every newspaper in the county."
When I started reading the story, my brain just goes to 100 miles an hour. I thought to myself, man, what I saw, other people saw it. You know, do I tell anybody? What do I do? It was my wife's birthday, and we wanted to run a movie, and I came outside to my squad car to get my credit card. As I'm walking back, something caught my attention. I saw what appeared, I call it a bubble or an orb. It was a reddish orange, fiery looking color, really big. And I focused in on it, and that's when I noticed my little boy. And he said, "Look, Dad." There was these bright lights flashing at the pulsating thing. Like that. They had spread out. There was 11 or 12 lights that I was able to count. All of a sudden, these things would shoot off at a blazing speed. Well, it was probably, what seemed to be maybe a minute or two. I heard jets coming. They were flying in the same direction, the same path as these lights. You know, I think those jets were the same ones that Steve Allen saw.
After the newspaper came out, I get the call from Leroy Gayton. I didn't know him at the time, but he told me his story.
This was
Matched exactly what
relatively small community.
I said, Leroy, can you help us out with this a little bit? He said, no, I can't. I'm sorry.
I'm voted in by my peers to protect them, just like the sheriff is. What are they gonna think that I'm one of the guys that says I saw the lights? I thought it was gonna ruin me.
And I said, I understand, but I said, come on, Leroy, I need somebody with a little credibility to add to it.
He said, that's awesome, especially when you do too. And I think the world needs to know.
Somebody like Leroy Gayton has a lot to lose. I have a lot of respect for him because when I called, he hesitated a little bit. Then he said, no, I think it's important. He said, what we saw was really different.
I just saw strange lights traveling at a high rate of speed, doing some things that I've never seen anything before in my life.
That was, I think, the first big county official that she was able to get that went on the record with it. Gave really the source a lot of credibility.
When I first heard about these reports, the first thing that went through my mind was, okay, something significant happened. Now,
I
as
see
to
it,
what
guys.
happened, at that point I didn't
There it
know,
is, the
but
UFO.
it was definitely worth
I can
investigating.
see it over there.
My degree
Over
is
there,
in
guys.
I was
Just over there, guys. I
engineering
can
manager
see
in
it.
the semiconductor field. And for the last 16 years, I have spent my time studying the UFO phenomenon. And my goal has always been to try to bring science to this subject. MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network. It's an organization that investigates UFO sightings. In 2008, I was the director of research at MUFON. And I remember I was monitoring reports as they came in, and I suddenly saw over 20 reports in one geographic area, Stephenville and Dublin. And I knew then that something unusual had happened. My view at that point in time was we need to get there as soon as possible and investigate this while everyone's memory is fresh.
We were contacted by MUFON, and I never heard of MUFON, but they wanted to set up an investigation, and so we said, well, we've got the rotary building.
Love you, Wally, brother.
I'm a chairman of the board of the First National Bank of Dublin. My grandfather was...
Thanks for being here, Wally. This is the last episode, so I'm closing the stream. We've been 2 hours and a half. It's a record for me.
Investigators from the Mutual UFO Network plan to look into the Stephenville sightings this weekend.
I was setting things up, and the guy said 35 is probably max. I don't know if we've ever had that.
Blessed sleep, Wally, brother. Thank you very much for the visit. You can watch the stream tomorrow. The 4 episodes, they are... it starts on the 2nd, then 3rd and 4th, and now it's the last one. The last one is the first episode.
It was going so fast, and it didn't make any noise.
The building was packed. There were people even outside on the sidewalk. Some of the people who had come, they just turned around and walked off. They didn't even want to deal with the number of people there.
At least 500 people filled the room, witnesses who saw the light.
The MUFON folks were kind of just taken back because they've never seen anything like this.
In an extremely small number of cases will we get a mass sighting like this.
We put all those chairs out, and there was...
Mass sighting, 500 people.
Or if I can see a show of hands who the witnesses are.
It was like everybody there had seen something.
We're approaching 100 people probably that have seen something in regard to this.
The Houston papers that are there, the Dallas papers, the papers from outside of Texas. The best way I can describe it was a media circus.
The next day or two, we were just inundated with media from all over the country.
Dozens of people in a small Texas town are talking about some unexpected visitors.
Do you guys believe in UFOs? Think it's possible?
Yes.
I realized that the entire city had totally transformed.
The skies over Stephenville haven't looked the same since a UFO reportedly made tracks across it January 8th.
Stephenville, a North Texas town, is swept up in UFO mania.
They had Japanese film crews, Brazilian film crews. The Japanese film crews, as quiet as it keep coming to Stephenville.
This is in Stephenville.
I said, well, it's the
sickly looking vitamin D deficiency. Got milk.
The high school science club designed a T-shirt and made $4,000.
I can't even believe it.
Little Phil hats to ward off alien mind probes. Nice look, guy.
People are really having a good time with this thing.
The most excitement Steven's had in a long time.
Profitable business, guys. Ufology.
One evening, my husband and I happened to go out to dinner at a restaurant, and it was packed. And all of a sudden, the TVs came on, and there they were.
They were dancing around and they were flickering. Tonight's strange sights in the night skies over Texas fuel otherworldly questions.
When that came on, there was just a hush. Everybody just was riveted.
Angela Joyner, staff writer for the Empire Tribune, who has talked to several witnesses.
Very similar stories from people that have called in and emailed me. So I think there's been a lot of consistency within those pockets.
Angela did not treat the story like it was a fun and games story. She took it serious from the very beginning.
After doing the first story, I did get a little spooked. I thought, oh my gosh, this is bigger than what I even dreamed it could be.
It was nice that people were calling me going, hey, I saw the front page and it was saying Dublin, and just kind of like, wow, that's great. But then at the same time, there's some that just love to ridicule. They love to kind of knock somebody off their horse. There was some radio stations out of Fort Worth came down and basically just to make fun, you know. It was people that showed up just to try to discredit these folks.
When one of those little green monsters start walking up there, then I'll believe it.
And so when these sightings started taking place, we saw it, but we didn't really say a whole lot about it. You know, it was starting to get a little dark. It was about this time of night. My friend Kent was telling us this story about something that he saw a few days before.
I looked up and I'm saying, that's just not normal for me.
He saw this huge, he called it a Dorito.
Looked like a triangle, or I said originally a Dorito.
He stands up and he's stretching his back, and all of a sudden he goes, they're back. And I said, who's back?
Who's
and
back?
At points, I see this big triangular vessel, but what's amazing is there's no sound. There is no sound whatsoever.
I couldn't process what I was seeing because it was huge, and you just look and you think, what is that thing? And then all of a sudden,
Maths teacher.
almost like it just vanished. I was not scared, but it was almost where I'm thinking, beginning to doubt myself, did I even see anything? Then it was like the next day, it's like, don't tell anybody.
When you sit there and you say, yeah, I just saw this vessel, or I saw these lights, well, who do we tell about it? And if we did, what kind of flack are we going to take?
Lo que no entendemos, lo tratamos de explicar por ese lado, pero también nuestra cultura es muy abierta a aceptar las
She's
cosas
speaking
que no
Mexican.
necesariamente vemos.
She's saying Mexicans are quite open-minded.
Como aquí en Estados Unidos. Lo inexplicable no necesariamente quiere decir que no es
The
verdad.
unexplainable doesn't mean that
In 2008,
it's not a
I saw
fact.
when lights in the sky. The
2008, she
when I
saw
them,
lights in
I
the sky.
remembered that they were exactly the same as the first time I saw them, because I saw them the first time I was a teenager. We're originally from Mexico, and for Christmas break, we were getting ready to travel to Michoacan in Mexico with our family. My mother, the evening before, I'm a dairy farm, and she says, I was out there feeding the calves, and these lights were appearing up in the sky on bubbles. You know, could it be evil spirits or something? Because we tend to be a very superstitious culture. And so when she saw those, she was very much startled. She was afraid. that next day that we were on our way to travel to Mexico, we were in our vehicle, already loaded up and headed out. And these lights started coming up, and my mom said, those are the ones I saw yesterday. And me and my sister, my other sibling, saw those at that time. It wasn't something that we can explain. All I know is that what I saw in 1989 was the same thing that I saw in 2008.
Damn, guys, this is incredible.
We were coming back from Fort Worth, me and my husband. About this time in the evening, we could see the lights up in this area. It was like it would bubble in one spot, then bubble in another spot. It was too fast for any airplane or helicopter to do. As we're looking up, I'm hanging out the door with my camera trying to take pictures of it. But the camera, it just wasn't fast enough to be able to take those pictures. And then they were gone. I do believe
She was close.
when people come to our area, it's for a reason. If they're here, why are they here? Today we're going to be talking about Don Quixote. What's the matter with Don Quixote? I love working with
Don
students.
Quixote.
You need to see what information A and information B has. Not going against their parents or going
I didn't know Don Quixote had connection to UFOs, but look what she's gonna say.
Driven to find out what it was that we saw. The more we dug into it, I kept developing more questions and answers. I don't have enough nerve to call the NAS, the Naval Air Station. Angela, she did. She'd called in there and talked to Major Carl Lewis.
I called him to check out were there F-16s in the area. He said, no, we did not have any F-16s in the area.
The Air Force says none of its planes were in the area at the time of the sightings.
Angela told me that, and he come back with all kinds of excuses what we thought we might have seen. One excuse was a reflection off of a high-altitude jet airliner, and she says, what do you think about that? And I said, it's a reflection off of my shiny white ass.
I was really worried about Steve Allen. You could tell he was just haggard. His wife told me
they beat us up until we give in.
I told my wife that several of us was going to get our airplanes and go look for it. And she, of course, didn't like that idea, but, you know, it's like telling a kid to do something. We're going to do what we want to.
Yeah, don't bring a gun to a missile fight.
We explored all possibilities. We combed the whole area. Then on about the third night, we was talking to each other on the radio, and I said, do you guys ever feel like you're looking for a needle in a haystack?
What I saw happen, Steve, is the same thing I've seen happen in a lot of witness. You've got this feeling of control. And then suddenly you see something close to you and that does something that is so impossible that it just shakes the underpinnings of what they have always thought the world was.
Ricky Sorrells was deer hunting in these woods when he says the UFO stopped.
Guys, this story is freaking amazing.
Just like this, and I can see it. Ricky Sorrells has a very interesting story. Ricky actually had a UFO sighting almost 2 weeks, roughly, before the Stephenville incident.
So here they're doing all the chronology and the localization.
He told me the story of what happened. He was out deer hunting.
Oh, he was deer hunting?
Everything got dark, like clouds had come overhead. Well, he looked down,
Everything became
and there was
dark.
an object above him. He couldn't tell its size or its shape because it was so large that it just covered everything above him.
He raised his rifle up and looked at it through the scope so he could get a better view of it. And he says, I looked it over, and there was no bolts, no rivets, and it just seemed seamless all over it, and that's all he could see. And he says, I started to go ahead and shoot it, but he got to thinking that wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done.
Sorrells didn't want to start an interstellar war.
And when it took off so fast I would have blinked.
I would have thought it vanished.
He said, you know, the amazing thing is that this huge object that took off at such a high speed, it should have just sucked me right along with it. And he said, there was nothing, no sound, no wind, nothing. Somehow, that object didn't interact with the atmosphere.
It didn't interact with the atmosphere.
There was one morning, Ricky came to my house, and Ricky is in tears. And I asked him, man, what's going on? He said, literal people are harassing me in my own house. Who's harassing you? He said, I don't know. He said, they tell me that they work for the government.
Ricky was definitely being intimidated.
Intimidation from the suits.
He found a bullet. It was definitely military grade. He thinks they may have left that on purpose to persuade him not to be speaking about it.
The next thing I know, he is calling me. He said something's going on, somebody's bothering me. I'm having all of these helicopters flying over my place. They are running my cattle to death. And he came to me out of concern for my safety.
Angela, assuming that Ricky is not nuts, what do you make of this?
Well, I feel that perhaps Ricky might have been singled out simply because he was the one that had a daytime sighting. He had more detail than anyone else.
He had details.
I wondered if that might be why he was singled out.
Suddenly, Ricky starts talking to me.
Then Ricky opens his mouth.
A lot more than what the rest of us saw.
He saw more.
Ricky has said he saw some sort of something inside the
He
aircraft.
saw.
And it resembled some sort of insect, or maybe even a praying mantis.
He saw praying mantis inside
I think
the craft.
Possibly
Big size one.
someone and offered a monetary agreement. They wanted it black.
Sarah, welcome back. Look, Wally was just here, but he was almost sleeping.
Says we've had a lot of discussion about you and what to do with you. You're kind of a high profile guy. If you just was happen to come up missing, it kind of looks suspicious.
Okay, so I think 22 more minutes.
Watching the footage over and over again, almost obsessively.
This is not very interesting now. It's about the gimbals and all that stuff. Look, Mick West debunked this long time ago.
And shortly after I arrived, I started to have these follow-on experiences with the phenomenon. That was like the beginning of
Fairview, guys. We are teaching the community about the strange lights.
Several times a week, and I would feel my body kind of sliding across the bed, and I knew that they were taking me. I woke up because
Oh, look, this one here was abducted.
a hand grabbed my arm right here. So I went to try and raise my hands to my face to wipe the sleep away, and I realized I couldn't move. And I could just see this outline of
Sleep paralysis.
a shadowy figure with, you know, a torso, 2 arms, and a head standing over me. When I was in the Navy and I saw this footage, I knew that there was something out there, right? I knew there was something non-human out there. So I knew when they started showing up in my room that all of this was real. I had the luxury of knowing that I wasn't going crazy. Right? I knew what it was. There's all kinds of sensor evidence, radar evidence. I think that there's enough footage
But if they just release all of it and say, hey, this is what we have, they don't even have to give an explanation. You just say, we don't know. This is what we got. There would be no doubt as to whether or not the phenomenon is real. Everyone would know it.
The U.S. military is now saying it was fighter jets, not UFOs, that folks were seeing in the Stephenville area earlier this month.
The military now says it was training in the area after all. 10 F-16s over the Brownwood military operating area.
The military spokesman blames an internal communications error for giving out false information.
There was no more new sightings. We were clearly not going to get an answer from the government or what this could have been. So unless we have something new and significant to report about it, we need to get on to other things. It was a hard thing for Angela. She really had a hard time letting go of it and breaking away from it.
I just couldn't abandon those witnesses. They were thrust into the limelight just like I was. Plus, it was shaking them to their very core about what they had seen.
I had given her an assignment and I had this feeling that she wasn't doing it that day. And she left. And I got on her computer and discovered some emails that she had sent saying that the newspaper and the management here, me specifically, I had gotten pressure to shut it down from the government and the city officials. And I was pretty upset about that because none of that was true.
Very strange story with Angela. She came into work one morning and her computer was gone. And she says, hey, what happened to my computer and my stuff? And they told her she didn't work there anymore.
Was it a termination? Yes, but also she didn't want to be there anymore. She wanted to continue this. And that was a story that I was happy to move on from.
If you look at the UFO phenomenon, it's gone on for 75 years in the modern era. And yet today, we still don't know much more than we knew 75 years ago. That's troubling for me in the field of science because there's no crystal clear, solid evidence. And that's the mystery of this phenomenon. It's like, where is the evidence?
In the morning, I've been out working a moonlighting job in Stephenville. There's an alarm call at this business. I went ahead and advised the sheriff department that I was close by, I would take the call. And when I get out of the car, I look and I see a pulsating orb up in the sky. Got my dashcam and position it, trying to videotape this object. I took the video home, back then it was VHS, and put it in my player at home. It was not a clear video. It was like something was interfering the quality. I said, man, why is this tape messing up right now of all times? I've never had a problem before that with any video. After that, I used that camera at least another year and a half while I went into it. Never had a problem with that. Whatever this thing was, whoever was responsible for it did not want clear footage of it.
I wanted to find corroboration for the object seen by Leroy and Steve and all the other witnesses in Stephenville on January 2008. I had the witness statements. I knew the when and the where and the direction they were looking. At the MUFON event, I met a guy from Colorado, Glenn Schultz, and Glenn was a former Army radar expert. Anything that flies in the sky is caught with what's called primary radar data. So I wanted radar data to support what the witnesses had told me.
The FAA won't volunteer those returns because they say nothing happened. So you have to send a Freedom of Information Act request in and force them to release the data.
I sent FOIAs to every police department, every military base. And the one FOIA that panned out the best was the FOIA to the FAA, which provided me with radar data from 5 different radar antenna across the state of Texas. Glenn Schultz and I went 4 months to go through the radar data before I went looking for any unknowns. First thing I did was track the F-16s.
2 F-16s came in hot pursuit.
They were flying in the same direction as these lights.
These are the 2 that flew down to Comanche, Dublin, Stephenville. So once I identified where the F-16s were, I wanted to start looking for objects that did not have transponders. So I wanted to see everything that was not supposed to be in the sky. Get to where Steve is, so I'm looking there. And do I see any unknowns that are popping up that match what he described? What I find is radar data that confirms what Steve Allen and Leroy Gateman have told me.
Came out here to have a campfire, and all of a sudden, I see some high-intensity lights headed at a high velocity of speed.
Steve is located here. There are 2 radar points that showed an object moving without a transponder.
When we first saw the ship, it was just a few minutes after 6.
The 2 data points match the time and the geographical location.
Does its flame job over Stephenville, just simply disappears.
This is outside of the military operating area, so it should have a transponder if it is military aircraft, but it doesn't. In the case of Leroy, I had about 5 data points on the radar indicating there is this object south of his home.
I came outside, something caught my attention off to the southwest sky. All of a sudden, these things just shoot off at a blazing speed, and they travel what I say northeast.
When he says it moves to the northeast, I get a data point 10 seconds later. It's to the northeast and is moving at an extreme rate of speed. It's not very often that you get radar data that just corroborates exactly what a witness said in terms of geographic location and time.
It showed it in black and white that there was something flying out there, and that the speeds that these things are traveling are like speeds that we cannot do here on Earth.
These stories check out with the radar data, so there's absolutely no doubt that there's an object in the sky, and that the object that's in the sky does not have a transponder code. That tells you that you're dealing with something real, whatever it is.
Is any of this stuff real? I don't know. I think UFOs are just as real as, the lights in this room or the cameras that are in front of me. I think that, they are very real, but I think what is your idea of reality? That's the question. You see that the DoD and NASA even, they're all hiring physicists to work on this UFO issue, and that's not where the truth of this lies. This lies more within the realm of the humanities, within the realm of psychology, philosophy, religious studies. That's where you're going to find the truth of this. No physicist is going to be able to tell you what this is. Because the physicist maybe can tell you how physical matter might behave, but the humanities will tell you why. It's not a Department of Defense issue. It's a human issue, is what it is. And that's why I could not justify being quiet. I've got 8 children.
full of kids, and we've really seen fruit from that. Okay, which one first? Every day starts out with some type of Bible lesson. Ezekiel was a prophet, you're right. In the Old Testament. So, check this out. I looked and behold, a whirlwind was coming out of the north, a great cloud with raging fire engulfing itself, and brightness was all around it, and radiating out of it the color of amber out of the midst of the fire. What was it that Ezekiel was seeing? Not the message part. I get the message part. But what he saw. Behold, a wheel suddenly came to the earth. And the rims were full of, look at this for me, eyes all the way around. All the way around. Windows, right? To me,
He's talking about the Bible.
Is making scripture a lot more real for them than just a bunch of stories. This was Switzerland, and some guy just got this on video. It's a UFO. What does that look like right there? It's a wheel within a wheel. That was 2 years ago. The Christian populace does not want to believe that any of this is real, because if it does, it changes all of their reality. You know, that is the Bible.
This is very good, guys.
Or is it for them too?
That's a million-dollar question: is where does life and other planets and religion fit together?
This is Fairview, guys.
Somebody were to ask me, did God make other creatures? I'd say yes.
When Kent was telling us this story, I was the typical jerk, giving him a hard time, saying, here's a guy that just saw a flying Dorito. And when we all looked up and saw this thing, all of a sudden it changed us in a way that we look at both sides of the story more.
Now when I hear people tell stories of things they see, I am not a doubting Thomas. I'm thinking, you know, they saw something. I know they did, or why would they be saying this?
Of course, psychology today would tell you that, hey, if you're experiencing these things, you're seeing things in your room at night, that you're schizophrenic, or you have some kind of other severe...
Watching things in your room at night. I'm not sure about that, guys.
Right. When I made the decision to talk about this, to leave the Navy, I was 4 years away from retirement, which would have meant, you know, a pension, health insurance for the rest of my life, you know, and I left that all on the table, and I walked away from it, because this isn't just about me, right? It's not about me at all. It's about all of us.
This guy looks much more credible than Luis Elizondo for me.
Don Quixote is one of my favorite novels, and in it, Don Quixote is a madman. And everything that he sees in a different
He's a
light.
madman, Don Quixote.
He sees these windmills, but in his mind, they're not windmills, they're giants. We know that we're not mad. We know that there is something credible to this, because too many people saw these lights in the sky. And so, we're not a Don Quixote. There's more to it.
You can argue, well, it was some
The hunt continues, guys.
but our technology don't suddenly leap across 100 years of technology. They're gradually created. In this case, I think whatever people saw...
Stay blessed, my people. Love you very much.
And it was not manufactured by the United States or any other country for that matter.
So about 9 months later, I was driving my daughter to gymnastics in Dublin, and I saw some lights. I pulled over to the side of the road, and I just stopped and looked out my front window, and they kind of were blinking or kind of coming in and out of focus, and then they kind of came together cohesively and just sort of disappeared. I just was so shaken and so shocked. I thought, my gosh, I'm seeing what everybody's been talking about for of the universe was sort of playing a trick on me. Like, I balked at the story so hard in the beginning and for so long, and then, months later, it's sort of like, well, here it is. I can't believe all of the wonderful people I've met, and that's the good of UFO reporting. I've loved every minute of it, and I hope that I'm going to be doing this for a long time. Thank you. I talked to Angelique, and I would tell her how brave she was for understanding that there was a story there to be told, and I certainly wish that we had parted ways differently. My biggest regret of all of that.
Our business suffered because I was chasing the unidentified object that we saw. So it put an undue strain on our relationship and her as well. And after 17 years of being together and married, we ended up getting a divorce. My relationship suffered, my company suffered, I suffered. I still consider it a blessing that I did see it, and it's forever in my mind. But I'm still on my quest, still to this day. I will find out what happened.
Stay blessed, my people. Love you very much.
Secret. Nothing I am saying is anything new. It's just a matter